The good news is these two links to our end of the year type of stuff for bowling and our end of the year party, they actually work now. So if you have not RSVP'd on them, they actually will come up and they are beautiful and they work. So hopefully I can see you all on Friday. Our principal is being kind of silly and she wants me to do something at the office from 11 to 2:30. So who knows how long I'll be able to stay, but I'm fighting her on it right now so that I can hopefully stay the entire time. Um, anyway, so that's bowling. And then the end of the year party on May 13th, this link is also working now. So hopefully you can all join us. Yay! Oh, good. And Corbin is here. Yay. All right, just a little reminder because I know we had a week off due to CMAS testing last week. Um, well, at least for fourth and fifth graders. So sixth graders, you were just lucky. um, but just a reminder for our enduring understanding is that we all use different reading strategies that work best for us individually to understand a text. So these different book club jobs that you're doing are helping you practice different reading strategies. Some of them are going to be easier for you, and some of them are going to feel, I don't know, like it just doesn't connect with you as well. But that's okay. It's good to know and practice different types. Okay? All right. So let's go to our site and see who is what today. All right. So today is the 28th. We like to start with the discussion directors just because they get questions that get our minds kind of, ready. So maybe we can start with Jaden and then we can maybe go to Jade after. Jaden, do you have them typed on your screen? Okay. Oh, you wrote them down. That's totally fine. I'm going to type them while you read them. Okay. So whenever you're ready, make sure your mic is on and that you're done with breakfast.
Okay, so the first question is, why are the guards looking for Jewish people?
Okay, now anybody can answer.
When the guards came in?
Mhm. So what do you guys think? Why are the guards looking for Jewish people?
Because they're taking them to the camp, and so they're getting all the Jewish people now to take them to the camp.
Okay, they're taking them to camps. What is the main reason, or do you know yet? What is the main reason that these people don't like Jewish folks? Good, and Corbin is sharing some answers in the chat. Do you know what the main reason was? Do you guys want a little history lesson?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Here's your little history lesson of why. Because, yeah, you are all telling me that, well, they don't like Jewish people. Well, you need to know why they didn't like Jewish people. After World War One, so I'm typing this so you can see me type it. After World War One, Germany was in great debt. Okay, a lot of people were suffering and didn't have food, jobs, resources, etc. So this person, Adolf Hitler was his name, kind of came into power by promising all of these German people that if they believed in his way of thinking and if they believed in his policies, that he would put them back to work and that they would have a better, beautiful, bountiful life. And he blamed Germany being in debt and being poor on Jewish people. Now, it's kind of an overgeneralization because there were a lot of things that he had going on in his mind, but he was able to convince people that Jewish people were really stingy with money and they were very wealthy and they shouldn't be wealthy, that the jobs should go to German people that weren't Jewish. And it was just a way of brainwashing people. So what he did is he brainwashed the public into believing that the Jewish were to blame for the hardships their country was facing. It was really quite amazing that people would actually believe it, but they were so desperate and they were so hungry and they were so poor that they really wanted anybody to, step up and give them a reason, to fight. So basically, he took advantage, Hitler took advantage of people in a bad situation who were very willing to believe whatever. Okay, so there's my little 2 cents for the day. All right, Jaden, your microphone is back on and you can tell us your second question.
Okay. Who did Anne Maria's dad call and why?
Who did Anne Marie's dad call and why? Anybody have an idea?
Uncle Henrik to tell him that they were take they were going to his house tomorrow.
Okay. They were going to sneak away and go to his house. So basically, to kind of give him a heads up. Very good. All right, what's your next question?
Why did Marie's mother say to not open the door to anyone, not even a friend?
Okay, so I didn't type that because I was responding to Clara in the chat. But so why did the mother say not to open the door for anyone? And somebody else can go ahead and reply. Oh, good, Clara, because the Nazis were watching. So they were watching the house. Okay, very nice. All right, Jaden, did you have any more questions for us? No? I can't see you if you have your webcam on, Jaden. No, all right. Okay, well then we will move on to, I'm sorry, let's see here. Let's go back up. Our quotable quoters. So we had a couple. We had Clara and we had Patrick. Oh, Patrick shared this with me. So while Clara is presenting, I will find Patrick's work so that I can share his afterward. So Clara, I'm going to go ahead and make you the presenter.
Okay.
And you're exactly right, Sienna. I like your answer in the chat. So the quotable quoter's job was to find parts that she thought were important to share with us again, and she'll tell us why she chose those parts.
Okay, so while I was reading, I thought that chapter 5 I chose my 2 parts from chapter 5 because I thought chapter 5 was a very thrilling and exciting chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So, number 1 is, I remember it was raining, Ellen said sadly. It was still raining the next morning when Mama told me. Mama was crying, and the rain made it seem as if the whole world was crying. Page 41. And I feel this part in the story is great in description, but at the same time sad and meaningful.
I agree. I really like that way that she used descriptive language and said it made it seem like the whole world was crying. It was
Yeah,
just a really sad, depressing time. Good.
yeah, and that was when Anne Marie's sister had died.
Right.
So the second one is, Ellen, she whispered urgently, take your necklace off. Ellen's hands flew to her neck. Desperately, She began trying to unhook the tiny clasp. Outside the door, the harsh voices and heavy footsteps continued. "I can't get it open," Ellen said frantically. "I never take it off. I can't even remember how to open it." Anne Marie heard a voice just outside the door. "What is here?" "Shh," her mother replied. My daughter's bedroom. They are sound asleep." "Hold still," Anne Marie commanded. "This will hurt." She grabbed the little gold chain, yanked it with all her strength, and broke it. Page 45. This was a very exciting part in the book because it keeps you wanting to keep reading.
Mhm.
It There is a lot of haste, and this part really makes you feel what Anne Marie and Ellen are feeling, because this was when the guards came into their house and they were inspecting the house, um,
Yes, it was.
because yeah,
Yeah, they were inspecting the house. They were looking for basically for Jewish people that could be hiding. And
yeah,
yeah, and definitely she was hiding, and she had this Star of David necklace on, which means you're
yeah,
Jewish. You got to take the
yeah.
necklace off. And so it was kind of like quick and hasty, and we better get this off now or we can all die. So,
Yeah, and it was like it's a part in this story where you're just like really scared. You're just like still because you just keep on reading, you know.
yes, you're like, get it off. Ah! Yeah, they had a couple close calls in this book, definitely. All right. Let's see here. Oops, sorry. So now we have the other quotable quoters parts, and I will just go ahead and read them for him, and then he told us in green why he chose them. How did your sister die, Anne Marie? Ellen asked suddenly. I remember when it happened, and I remember the funeral. It was the only time I've ever been in a Lutheran church, but I never knew just what happened. I picked this because it was very sudden and a crazy question, and I found it interesting because I was shocked that she asked that question. Um, yeah, it was kind of a shocking question just to kind of ask out of the blue like that. What do you all think? Okay, we're going to use the chat to reply, I guess. You guys should turn on your microphones and just talk. Or you can type into the chat too. Um, I thought it was pretty important, and definitely an important part because her sister dying, you're going to find out why she died a little bit later on in the book, and um, it's actually quite important. It has a lot to do with the resistance. Let's just put it that way. All right. It is possible that they will look for Jewish children in the schools. Not go to school? Ellen asked in amazement. My parents have always told me that education is the most important thing. Whatever happens, I must get an education. And I picked this, or I should say, Patrick picked this, because he thought it was weird that she thought it was okay to risk her life to get an education, even with the danger. In our society, we take education for granted. It's not something we have to risk our lives for, which is different from places that don't have an elementary school or where kids don't go to school at all. I think this was very, very informative of Patrick to pick up on this. That here in America, we don't, or at least here in our little community, we don't think of going to school as ever being dangerous. Um, but a lot of times we take it for granted. Okay? All right. Very cool. Any other thoughts on the quotable quoter before we move on?
No.
Okay. You guys are so quiet. My other group is so talkative and you're so quiet. All right. Summarizer. We did not have a summarizer today, which, oh, yes, we did. We had Sienna. Just kidding. All right, Sienna, let's make you the presenter. Did you type it, I hope, so that we can read
Yes.
it? Jade has dogs that like to bark. That's good. So you can definitely keep yours off then.
So in chapter 5, Ellen stays with Anna Marie and they go to bed for the night, and then the soldiers come at 4 in the morning looking for the Rosens. Anna Mary is watching them through a crack in her room as they look through the house, and just before they come into the room, they yank Ellen's necklace off, and then when the soldiers come in, they tell the girls to get out, and so once they're out, they ask why Lies, who is actually Ellen, has dark hair, and Anna Mary's dad shows them a picture of Lies as a baby, and she has dark hair then, so they leave, but they're still suspicious.
Mm-hmm. So very good. They're trying to pass her friend off as the older sister who's actually dead. um, this was back in a time when paperwork wasn't quite as important as it is today, so maybe they could actually get away with it. But it was still very scary. I like how you did this. I like how you summarized each chapter. That makes it really clear. All right. Anybody have anything they'd like to add to the summary?
I haven't read the ones for chapter 6 and 7 yet.
Okay. Well, that's okay. All right, no worries. Let's move. Oh, I got to make myself a presenter again, and here we go. We can move on to our connector, although I don't think Tyler has his connection in his new house yet, so he might not. Oh, yes, he does. He's here. Tyler, do you have your connections ready for us? Okay, let's make you the presenter, Tyler. You're just not usually so quiet, Tyler. All right, we're going to be watching Tyler's screen. And you can think of your own connections while he is sharing. All right, Tyler, make sure your mic's on because we can't hear you. Tyler, you got to turn your mic on. Oh, his mic is not working. Well, that's a bummer. All right. Okay, so we have never been to the sea before. So I
Hello?
think he's making. There you are. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry about that. It's
Yep,
just the
we're good.
connections. The connection's poor because right now I'm in the basement area of our new house.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
But these are just my main two connections I've had in the book I've read so far. There's not too many other things, but we have took a trip before and we've spent a day or two by the sea inside a house or a little like a hotel, I guess. And then we have had to leave our house for a while for a specific reason. We went to visit our grandpa before we moved to Colorado
Right?
um, for about 5 days because he had surgery and wanted to just make sure he was fine.
Good. Okay, so you're making a lot of personal connections. Has anybody made any kind of text to text connections? Does this remind you of any other book?
So, it
Has
reminds me
anybody
of
ever read
Learning
the
to
book
Sleep
Anne
Late.
Frank? Maybe, maybe not. Anne Frank? Sound familiar? The Diary of Anne Frank? Okay, well,
Oh, and from
okay, so at least a couple people have heard of the Diary of Anne Frank. That's usually what I hear as a connection. People make a connection to that book because Anne Frank is actually a Jewish girl herself who, very much like the little girl in this book, has to hide from the Nazis. So that would be another cool book. If this time period and this subject interests you, you should definitely look into that book as well. Yes, go ahead, Jaden.
Because of Winn Dixie?
Oh, good. Tell us why you made that connection.
I didn't really think it that far.
Well, it reminded you for some reason, and that's okay. Um, because a
Oh, and I
win.
actually do have that diary. My mom has that diary you were talking about.
Yeah, the Diary of Anne Frank. You should ask her to read it. It's really cool. And Corbin typed into the chat. It reminds him of a movie called The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. I've never seen that movie, but I'm guessing it's about this time period and World War II. Another, and you guys are too young to have ever seen this movie, I hope, because it's kind of violent. But the Shawshank Redemption, or not Shawshank Redemption. It's slipping my mind right now, which is probably a good thing. Oh no, it's Schindler's List. Thank you. Schindler's List is a movie about this time period. Wow, look at you, Jaden. So that's what the other book looks like. Very cool. Oh yes, Sienna. Let's go back to you, sweetheart. I thought you said that you didn't have your other two summaries. Do you have your other
I
summaries?
was, yeah, I was saying that I didn't read them, the summaries of them yet.
Oh, okay. Well, do you want me to make you the presenter again, or would you like to just read them?
I like to be the presenter.
Okay. I'm so sorry, Sienna. You're so quiet that I didn't understand you. Thank you, Clara.
So, for chapter 6, they talk a little. So they're talking after the soldiers leave, and then their mom and dad decide it's time to go to Uncle Henrik's, and so their dad calls him and tells him that they're going to go, and so then they leave. They leave on the train a little while later. On the train, the soldiers ask them where they're going, and so they tell them they're going to their Uncle Henrik's, and so then they ask if they're going to celebrate the New Year, and they say, well, her mom's like, the New Year, it's only October, and so they leave. Then they get to Uncle Henrik's place, and once at Uncle Henrik's place in chapter 7, Anna Mary shows Ellen around, and she likes it there, and they like how beautiful it is. So, and then they get applesauce and fish for supper and a fire, so they're all warm and well fed. And Ellen asks where her necklace is, so Anna Mary tells her it's hidden where no one will find it. And at the end, she said she thinks it's like the old times, except there's no laughter.
Oh, that's pretty powerful, actually. She felt like it was just like old times, except now there's no laughter. Nobody's laughing anymore. Nobody's in a real good mood. That's powerful. Thank you, Sienna. I'm so sorry. I didn't hear you correctly. I don't think the last time when you said that you had two more.
It's okay.
This is very good. All right. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my screen. And Charlie, he had or no, actually, I think his mom had a doctor's appointment today or something. And he sent me what I thought was an illustration, but I couldn't really see a picture on it. So I think I might skip it for now. Does anybody have, something they'd like to talk about? Maybe what they would have drawn had they been the illustrator, and why you would have chosen to draw that?
I would have drawn all the apple trees.
All the apple trees. Yes, I was thinking something very similar. I would have drawn Uncle Hendrik's house and how beautiful the landscape was. So even in a really stressful situation, it was still kind of a nice place to be. Yeah. Corbin, I know you were sick last week. You can just shake your head, yes or no. Were you able to get any Word Wizard stuff? Yay! Is it up on your screen? Should I make you the presenter? Okay, cool. We're going to look at Corbin's. He was our Word Wizard. So he chose words that were either new or interesting or, well, we'll see. Okay, cool. So make it as big as you can, like maybe stretch it out a little bit. There you go. And the first word he chose was on page 47, and it was scornfully, to consider unworthy. So he laughed scornfully. If somebody is doing something scornfully, it's kind of that nasty, mean type of tone. Um, doesn't make people feel very well. So who is scornful in this book?
The Nazis.
The Nazis. Very good. Oh, Corbin, now I'm looking at a lion. There we go. Page 52. Reluctantly. Something you have to do, but you aren't really sure about it. Finally, he nodded reluctantly. So, I'm kind of reluctant to some things that I have to do every now and then, but you got to do them. It's one of those things that you don't feel great about, but you just you have to do it.
If
Page
you're stranded on an island and you need food, you're gonna catch a fish and eat it, one way or another.
Exactly. Like, right. Like in my other book club, they're reading about Island of the Blue Dolphins, and she has to make and catch all of her own food. Um, I would reluctantly catch a fish and eat it because that's just not something I would like to do. Page 57.
But
Exasperation. A feeling you get when someone or something is annoying you, or making you mad, or irritating you. Anne Marie sighed in exasperation with her little sister. Make a personal connection. Anyone. Have you ever felt exasperated with a family member?
Yes.
Oh, yes. And oftentimes it's your little brother or little sister who are irritating. All right. Or older, Clara is saying. Yeah, I feel the same way because I was the youngest in the family too. So I'm thinking, no, it was my older brothers who were irritating. Page 60. Gnarled. Ooh, I like that word, gnarled. Ooh. Something twisty, bumpy, or rough. Nearby, a gnarled tree was still specked with a few apples now long past ripe. So I imagine a big old, twisty, rough type of looking tree. Very cool. Gnarled. That also reminds me of how my hair is in the morning. Gnarled. Okay. Great job, Corbin. Yay. All right, friends. Um, and Jade, were you able, you can type into the chat, were you able to locate this book and read your parts? Maybe, maybe not. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down so that everybody can see what we have to have done by Thursday. So, Thursday, read the chapters that are assigned. So, for Number of the Stars, you only have 2 chapters this week, or I should say, in the next couple days. You only have 2 chapters to read. You're always welcome to read ahead if you want. If you think that it'll, if maybe you have like a rough week coming up and you have other stuff planned, or maybe you're going to attend bowling or something on Friday, you can always read ahead. But make sure you at least read chapters 8 and 9.
oh, I read those last night. I thought that's what we were supposed to do, and so I'm already done reading.
Oh, well, fantastic. Then all you have to do is your book club job. Yay.
Yay!
So,
What is it?
yeah. So that's all that you'll have to do. Oh, wait. I had my dates wrong. The 28th is coming up. But either way, you guys got. No, wait. Today is the 28th. Ha! I'm confusing myself.
No, it's okay.
What do we have going on
But
Thursday, guys? What is Thursday?
isn't
Thursday?
it bowling? No, not bowling.
No, Friday is bowling. Why? I'm looking at my schedule right now. What is going on Thursday? May 1st.
Interim assessment.
No, that's on May 5th. That's me explaining what the project is. I must have meant to put May 1st. I'm really sorry.
Interim testing?
No, that doesn't happen until that's actually star testing. We don't have that again